Good morning. Welcome graduates, guests, and staff to the Bryant and Stratton College 2020 Commencement Celebration. For over 165 years, we have been adapting to the unique needs of our students. Though we are not able to hold our traditional in-person gathering this year, we will not allow your accomplishments to go unrecognized. The team has put together a wonderful tribute to all of our graduates with a virtual experience we believe you'll enjoy. Please rise for the national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Please remain standing for the invocation which will be offered by Reverend Thomas Cirillo. Morning, sir.
Good morning. And good morning. I've been asked to bring the invocation. Just in case you were wondering, invocation comes from Latin, invocare, and it means to cite as an authority, kind of like you did in your research papers, but those are all submitted and graded, and we're here celebrating that very fact. It also means to ask for one's blessing or one's presence, and that's what I will do today. God by nature is transcendent, which means that in any time, any place, or any circumstance, God can be called upon, even in times such as these. In times of great difficulty in the world and our nation as well, it is still right and good and proper to take time to celebrate the goal you have attained and the skills that you've achieved, and the life you have before you. And I wholeheartedly believe that God agrees, which is why I'm honored here to pray on your behalf today. So let me pray for you. Dear God, it is in times like these that remind us of the incredible gifts that you give us and our desperate need of your care. You provide love, mercy, and compassion. You endow us with intellect, wisdom, strength, and purpose. Now as we celebrate hard work, countless struggles, late-night study sessions, the navigating between the balance between school, children, work, and family, and rest, and ultimately the victory of a goal reached and the start of a new chapter, I ask on behalf of our graduates for your unwavering presence and blessing in their lives, for their families, for their loved ones, their friends, and their acquaintances. And I ask right now that they would be able to see the evidence of your care, and that in every step of their lives that you would give them the eyes to see the provision that you provide. Amen.
Thank you, Reverend Cirillo. I want to congratulate all of you on this special achievement. Getting to this momentous day is truly a show of strength and perseverance. It should give each one of you the confidence that when you put your mind to a goal, you can accomplish it. We all have choices that we make in life. You can be a passive victim of circumstance, or you can choose to take charge of your own life. You chose to take action. You never gave up, and it has paid off with the degrees that you've earned. We are proud and grateful you gave Bryant and Stratton College the opportunity to share the journey with you. I would now like to introduce our commencement speaker. David Soares has served the people of Albany County for 20 years, currently tenured in his 4th term as district attorney. Mr. Soares is a graduate of Albany Law School and Cornell University. His one standard of justice philosophy holds accountable elected officials, law enforcement, and others who violate the law. His office focuses on restorative justice and alternatives to incarceration while prioritizing prevention over prosecution whenever possible and appropriate. Mr. Soares has developed initiatives to reinvest illegal proceeds that are obtained through seizures by law enforcement back into the community, and also programs to divert young adults out of the system altogether. We are now honored to welcome Albany County District Attorney David Soares. Welcome. Thank you.
We're all living in interesting times. But regardless of the conditions and the ways in which we're all interacting with one another, the one thing is clear, and that is that all of you deserve a warm round of applause and our sincere congratulations. Today, you should be congratulated for 2 reasons, both your personal achievement as well as your professional achievement. Let's talk about the personal achievement first, because only you and the people who have walked through your shoes understand just the challenge that you've experienced in getting to this point today. You know, I think all of you know what I'm talking about. Years ago, I think I did the same thing. Whenever I would wrestle with my own thoughts, that those voices of nagging doubt, that sometimes would cause me to want to miss a class or to not participate in something because of certain fears, irrational or otherwise. But you've managed to overcome and silence those voices of doubt, and you're here today, graduating from Bryant and Stratton. Yours today is a personal achievement, but it's also a professional achievement. You're getting a diploma today, but what you're also getting are keys that will open doors that you could not have imagined. Now, before we get into the rest of my remarks, there is an elephant in the room, and I think it's time we actually take it on. Because every morning when you're waking up and you're listening to the news, or you're reading your news, or you're on social media platforms getting your news, the things that you're hearing about are unemployment, you're hearing about businesses shutting down, you're hearing about America going through a change that we could not have foreseen even 6 months ago. And I want to say that the novel coronavirus has definitely changed the way that we approach everything that we do in the moment. It is hard every day to be hopeful. And if you're a graduating student, I have one myself in high school. It's hard to look and be optimistic about the future, and I absolutely get that. But what I want to say to you today is do not despair. COVID-19 is having a massive impact in our economy, and that's true. Unemployment is surging. That's true. Many industries have shut down. That's true. Some industries have shut down and they may not come back. And that is also true. But I say to you, do not despair. Because what this is doing is it's forcing us to really be innovative, and it's also forcing us to reimagine what the future looks like. We see industries shifting to adopt new operating methods. We see restaurants adopting new strategies to continue to thrive. I myself, I work with a restaurant owner who has shifted his menu options and his business is doing well. Remember, we are in our 4th month of our pause. And if you really think about it, I think we're adjusting relatively well considering the short amount of time that we're in this moment. Earlier I said that what we'd have to do is reimagine our future. COVID has forced us to do that a lot faster than many of us would be comfortable with. As I mentioned, I have restaurant owner friends who've changed the way that they do business. The office of the Albany County District Attorney is no longer operating out of the 4th floor at the Judicial Center. We are all operating from our homes, and we're still continuing to get that job done. We conduct hearings right now on virtual platforms, no one occupying the same space in order to reduce our footprint. If you look around, supermarkets have changed the way that they function as well. I think all of you now are familiar with words you'd never thought you'd hear: 2 carts apart. Me, myself, being from Rhode Island, I bug my wife when I say 2 cots apart. But we're all seeing how things are changing. Corporations are rethinking office space. Corporations have actually figured out that people, when left to their own devices, can actually be very productive from their own personal space. But what does this mean for you, the graduating class of 2020? The graduating class that could not have envisioned their ceremony taking place this way. Well, it means that you're the first graduating class to begin your careers, perhaps working from home. Now, this is a message specifically for the fellas. Now, I remember as a college student, I remember what my apartment looked like. And if you're going to get that first job and you're going to work from home, man, you're going to have to clean that place up. Seriously, bro. The Bruce Lee poster's going to have to come down because I don't think you can be in the corporate world working from home with Bruce Lee posters in the background. So you're going to have to lean on a lot of your friends who are in the field of design to assist you. For the single parents that are out there, working from home will have really different consequences for you. That may mean you have child care issues that are different than they were 6 months ago. It certainly will mean that you must be more disciplined and more independent in the work that you're doing. For many of us, the challenges that this moment is presenting, for some of us it may mean, it certainly will mean engaging the world differently, but it should not be a reason to despair. You are changing the trajectory for the future. You know, the one thing that I miss other than the personal contact during the graduation ceremonies, I miss seeing that look on your face, that look of achievement, that pride that you're taking in yourself. Because after all, everyone in the room is here celebrating you. But I also miss seeing the look on the faces of your families, your children and your parents, your loved ones. Because in them, they're beaming brighter than you are. You know, I want to applaud you on pursuing a higher education. Because a higher education, I think we take for granted what it truly means. I want to tell you a story about this young lady and this young man. Her name was Lucas and Lydia Soares, who moved their 5 children from the Cape Verdean Islands in West Africa in 1975. And upon their arrival in Pawtucket, Rhode Island, Lucas and Lydia made sure that their 5 children continued in school and prioritized academics. They did so with their contemporaries wondering why their teenage children were not working in the mills, but instead taking these classes. To many of my parents' peers, They certainly thought that owning a home and having physical possessions was certainly more important than academia. I stand here before you as the son of Lucas and Lydia Soares, and I can tell you that their sacrifice, their focus on education, has changed the trajectory of not only my life, but of my entire family. And that is the reason why I enjoy commencement ceremonies so much, because you have taken it upon yourself to not only improve your own life and the life of your children, but you are changing the trajectory of your entire family. And that is something that we should all be very proud of. Now, I started out my conversation here today in our discussion and this presentation, and we focused on COVID. We focused on it because it's difficult to ignore what is happening not only in our country, but in the world. And for some of you, it is cause to be concerned. For all of us, I think we all share in that. But if there's a country, if there's a group of people that are going to get through this and be successful and beat this and be prepared for additional challenges, it's certainly going to be us. And as a matter of fact, I think the graduates from Bryant and Stratton may be even better prepared than most. In doing my research, I came across an interesting fact. And that fact is, Bryant and Stratton was founded in 1854. Now, I know those numbers, they seem so long ago, and to you, they may just be numbers, but 1854 is of particular significance in the United States. It was only 3 years after the founding of Bryant and Stratton that the Dred Scott decision was handed down from the Supreme Court of the United States, reflecting that slaves were in fact property owners with no standing to challenge their freedom in a court of law. That decision really touched off the spark that I think eventually would end up creating the more divisions and the Civil War in the United States. Civil War is certainly the greatest challenge that this nation has ever experienced. Now, as I was thinking about this, I was thinking to myself, probably really not a good time to start something, but certainly the leaders of this particular college in its founding had a vision. And they weren't thinking about their college in isolation. They were aware of what was happening throughout the country. But yet, despite this period of uncertainty and unrest, they persevered, and they created a college that has served hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of students that continue to change the world and make this world a better place. And so I would say, if there's ever a college that not only in its founding and its philosophy that is preparing its students for the many uncertainties and the many challenges of the world that we're facing, it is certainly Bryant and Stratton. And so on behalf of the people of Albany County, on behalf of my family, on behalf of the people who I represent, I just want to say to each and every one of you and your families, congratulations. Thank you.
Now I'd like to introduce our Dean of Instruction, Mike Marcoux.
Thank you, Jack. In the academic department, we've had the pleasure of getting to know each of you. We have shared many defining moments along your academic journey, and each one of you deserves to be acknowledged and complimented for your achievements today. It gives me great pleasure to introduce our graduate speaker. This student shares with all of you aspirations, challenges, and triumphs along the academic journey to earning their degree. He has been chosen because he embodies the characteristics we hold most dear: commitment, persistence, enthusiasm, and the will to succeed. This graduate has also contributed greatly to the campus culture, helping many of his classmates inside the classroom, speaking to new students at new student orientation, and always being willing to share his time to help during on-campus and off-campus events. This graduate has completed his program, graduating with honors. I am pleased to present our graduate speaker, Mark Skip.
Thank you, sir. Good morning, and welcome to faculty, staff, family, and friends, and my fellow graduates of Bryant Stratton College. What an honor it is to be addressing you today. I feel it's important to acknowledge that while this is not the graduation ceremony that we thought would be attending, nor did our last semester really end the way we thought it would, but we all pulled together and we overcame the hurdles of the COVID-19 pandemic that was presented. We persevered to complete our semester in spite of the challenges we faced. And while this may not be the traditional ceremony that we thought we would be attending, the class of 2020 will also have something unique that others won't. So with the same creativity, perseverance, we've all come together today to celebrate our accomplishment. Nothing, I mean nothing, can take away from what we've achieved. As you experience graduation, please reflect on your journey, your hard work that we celebrate today. We're also celebrating all of you, our family, our friends, faculty, and staff that helped and contributed to our success. Like all of you, I didn't take my path at Bryant Stratton alone. I had some help along the way. My boys, Peyton and Parker, they thought it was a little crazy that Dad was going back to school, but they kind of think it's cool now that I'm getting to talk to all of you today. What did going back to school mean? It meant missing some dinners, some practices, and some events. But my wife, Christina, was always there to pick up the slack, always with unconditional love and support. To my father-in-law, Dad, for your guidance and your support, for this I say thank you, I love you, and I celebrate all of you today. For some of us, graduation is simply a stop on the journey. For others, it's the beginning as we strive to define and achieve success. But we must remember, as Winston Churchill said, success is not final, failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. My courage to continue was fostered at Bryant Stratton College as my journey began in 1992 as a high school graduate looking for direction. While I graduated in 1994 with my associate's degree in accounting, it was the institution that left me with so much more. By institution, I mean the admissions, the faculty, the staff. Didn't matter if you knew the person in the hallway, there was always somebody there to ask you, how are you? What can I do for you? How are your grades? Do you need anything? It was that encouragement that allowed me to succeed after I left college. I like to think I've had a successful career. I've been a chief operating officer, a chief financial officer, and I'm proud to say that I've had teammates, I've led teammates from the University of Notre Dame, Siena College, and Drexel University, to name a few. My point is not to brag about me. My point is to brag about the college that gave me the courage to strive for more. Guys, remember, your education is only part of the journey. It opens the doors and allows for different opportunities, different paths. It was not easy. It was always, I had to prove myself. I had to prove that they preferred a four-year degree. They preferred a CPA. So I always had to work harder. But you know what? I learned to believe in myself, to stay humble, and to outwork my competition. And while I believe I have achieved success, as noted earlier, success is not final. Like all of you, I still wanted more. I wanted my bachelor's degree. So here I am, 26 years later, celebrating with all of you. While my life and career have continued to change, the one thing that hasn't is the institution of Bryant Stratton College. I wasn't disappointed to still find people in the hallway asking me, how you doing? What do you need? How are your grades? Let's be honest, some things did change. I'm a little older. A couple students might ask me if I was the teacher in the class. Maybe I got asked in the hallway, sir, what class do you teach? But you know what? I chuckled, but it reminded me of 1993 when I was a kid. My classrooms were always full of students from various ages and various backgrounds. That's what makes Bryant Stratton special. So like all of us today, Back then, we were just looking to start our journey or to simply clear a new path. Selfishly, speaking of 1993, I've got to acknowledge someone who's been part of both my paths at Bryant and Stratton. I don't think Miss Sue Peak realizes how much she meant to me during my journey at Bryant and Stratton. But back in 1993, some of you may be surprised to learn she was my English teacher, a role model, and somebody who believed in me when I had doubts about myself. So imagine this, fast forward 26 years and I walk into the Learning Center. Who's sitting there? Mrs. Sue Peak. Our smiles met. Well, I smiled. I think she gave an eye roll and maybe a sigh. But all kidding aside, in all seriousness, she's still a believer, still a mentor, and most importantly, she's a friend. And it really means a lot to me today that I hope that I make her proud, and it's an honor to be given this speech with her watching. Earlier, I offered a quote from Winston Churchill. I said, "Success is not final, failure is not fatal, it's the courage to continue that counts." It truly is the courage to continue that counts, and as you continue, as you strive for success, I offer you the following. It's simple, nothing fancy, from the heart, and I hope it's memorable. I ask that you continue to work hard, but remember to be kind and remain humble. We may all be on separate journeys, but as we learned at Bryant and Stratton College, our paths do cross, sometimes more than once. So stay alert on that path. If you see someone trip, help them up. If you see an obstacle in the way, help them move it. Someday you may end up clearing a path and leading the way yourself. So I leave you with, it's been an honor to walk on this path with you. I wish you continued success wherever your journey takes you next. I give great thanks to Dean Marcoux for this opportunity, and congratulations, my fellow graduates of the class of 2020. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Great job.
Thank you, Mark. Before we begin conferring degrees, I would like to take a moment to recognize all of the people working to combat the current COVID-19 pandemic. Thank you to all of the brave frontline professionals and workers helping all of us and saving people's lives. We will now confer degrees to our graduates. Would all graduates please rise as your name is called?
Lisa Addy, Jarvis Alexander, Patricia Allen, Suzanne Althoff, Tina Anderson, Anya Austin, Richard Bakken, Tammy Baldwin, Lawrence Barnes, Nathan Bathalon, Brittany Beaudoin, Sarah Belden, Brianna Birdsall, Makenna Bladek, Victoria Blaze, Likema Blassingame, Hope Bray, Samantha Brooks, Amari Brown, Marlisan Brunken, Taylor Brush, Heather Brazoza, Gloria Burgess, Sandra Burnett, Rivka Caldwell, Mia Castro, Domingo Cepeda, Shazana Chamberlain Shaw, Mohani Chatooram, Lauren Cole, Victor Coles, Irene Conway, Richard Cook, Jedian Cross, Ione Cross, Jesus Delgado, Heather Dibble, Angela Dougal, Alexis Edwards, June Elting, Sandra Faulkner, Teralyn Felicini, Thomas Fields Jr., Jessica Figuel, Kissiany Figueroa, Ernesto Figueroa Jr., Deanna Ford, Joy Garcia, Clarence Gibbons, Evisa Gjini, Annabelle Glover, Emerson Gomez, Casey Goss, Anthony Gregory, Sue Gulum Younis, Kelvin Guzman, Shannon Halter, Taynique Hawthorne, LaQuinta Henderson, Ciara Hendricks, Julia Holbrook, Valerie Howard, Joseph Jenkins, William Johnson, Megan Jones, Sammuel Juste, Salva Cavalle, Kasha Keeler, Cameron Kirkpatrick, Tamas Kovacs, Carl Labarge, Anisa Lakshmi, Christy LaMountain, Shannon Lansley, Rebecca Lappins, Shaniah Lawson, Tracy Lillard, John Loscavio, Evan Luck, Luke Marcario, Eslinyer Marinez, Michael Mastrangelo, Zachary Matos, Sage McCoy, Kelly McIntyre, Stacy Metz, Hakeem Mobley, Maria Montalvo, Nicholas Mosier, Ivory Munoz, Giovanna Murray, Ashley Newman, Jamia Noisette, Lindsey Ozment, Brander Osoria, Daqwander Pavloff, Alexis Perez, Kobe Perez, Reggie Perez, Anita Petronas, Edward Potts, Chrisley Kerho, Amanda Quinlivan, Kristen Reffitt, Shawn Renaud, Edona Rexa, Robert Rivenberg, Paula Rivera, Yerson Rosalina, Kiara Rouse, Daniel Ryder, Jessica Sanford, Xavier Santiago, LaSheba Saunders, Kevin Schwab, Tamala Shaw, Alexis Siedschlong, Marissa Seiler, Michael Sims, Daquan Sibbles, Mark Skip, Jeremy Slaybow, Quesada Smith, Amara Solomon, Gaitra Sukram, Otis Spencer, Kiara Sweeney, LaShonda Tarver, Norberto Taveras, Diverd Thompson, Bridget Tompkins, Jihad Townsend, Alexandria Vanderpool, Iwona Wajler, Shakia Ware, Amanda Watson, Justice White, Heather Wilmot Luna, Jennifer Wintermute, Nakia Wise, Angeliana Yandon, Kelly Zoller, Christy Zullen.
On the recommendation of the faculty, and by virtue of the authority received from the Board of Regents and the University of the State of New York, we are pleased to confer the degrees of Associate of Applied Science, Bachelor of Business Administration, and Bachelor of Science. Let us give our graduates a round of applause. At this time, I would like to add my personal congratulations and those of the faculty and staff to all students being honored here today. At Bryant Stratton College, the ampersand is the symbol representing our motto, for every and in life. None of us could have ever imagined just how relevant that would be in 2020. We told you when you came to Bryant Stratton College that we valued lifelong learning and that we would help provide you the skills and opportunities that would help you in your academic and career pursuits now and in the future. And this required all of us to step up to the plate. After the first few weeks of quarantine, when some of us, the shock of the COVID-19 pandemic wore off, and the realization that life was going to be very different set in, each of us were faced with a choice: keep going or give up. Each of us chose to learn, be flexible, adapt, be resourceful, and never give up. So what else have we learned this year? We learned that our classrooms and offices may not always be in a building, but at home at your kitchen table. I learned that my dining room chairs are wildly uncomfortable. We learned that technology could be a lifeline to achieving your educational goals. You learned the meaning of team by all those who supported you inside and outside of the classroom. After spending a lot of time alone with spouses or significant others, kids alternating between playing and crying, sorry if you were on a Skype call with me, and animals wondering why you're still home with them, I hope this time has provided you with a reminder of the people, moments, and things that are most precious in our lives. We learned the real meaning of what essential means in the workplace. Many of us have been fortunate to continue working, while many others have not. We learned about workplace readiness skills from living it, not just learning about it in a textbook or a classroom exercise. Never forget this time when you turned hardships into opportunities to learn, change, evolve, grow, and improve. You will be better because of the challenges that you faced. You have lived and are living through a piece of history that is changing the world as we know it. Sadly, we continue to learn that many people in America and around the world are still not treated fairly, as equals. We learn that many people are forced to confront this reality, this hurt, this pain every day, often simply because of the color of their skin, their religious beliefs, or where they came from. We continue to learn every day that we need to listen, step back and think, say, and do better as a society. We need to have real, honest conversations with each other, especially when it's uncomfortable and difficult to do so. Unfortunately, this change isn't going to happen overnight. I am confident we will get there, though, but it is going to take all of us. From everyday citizens, to professionals, to police officers, to elected officials, and everyone in between, to make this country and planet a place that we can and should be able to equally call home. You didn't just pass your classes. You passed Life Coping Skills 101. You didn't just graduate with a college degree, you survived a pandemic. As we look at your transcript and check off all that you have learned, it is amazing, and we are so proud of you. Now is the time you have all been waiting for. You are a graduate, and your final act in this process is to move your tassel from right to left. Congratulations. The Reverend Thomas Cirillo will now give the benediction.
Let's pray. Dear God, thank you for all who have been celebrated today. Thank you for your sustaining to get everyone to this significant mile marker. Thank you for the paths that are ahead, and that you will be with us all every step of the way. Amen. Our heartfelt congratulations to the graduating class of 2020.